Okay, sorry. I'm still figuring out how to do this video stuff and all these technology things. So, we left off with carbon being unhappy. It's unhappy because it does not have its full outer ring full. It has 4 in the outer ring. It can hold 8, so it is not happy. Sodium is like neon. It was those 8 on the second ring, but then its third ring has 1. So it's not happy because it can hold 8 on that third ring and it only has 1. Fluorine needs 1 more electron to be happy like neon. It has 7 on the outside and it wants 8 to be full. So it is not happy. So your next question asked you, what could these other atoms do to be happy? So carbon with 4 on the outside, it could gain 4 electrons, or it could also lose 4 electrons. So say +4, -4. Neon's already happy. Sodium, there's 2 things sodium could do also. To get a full outer ring, it could lose 1 electron, or it could add 7 electrons. It's talking about adding or subtracting the number of electrons to be happy. And then fluorine, it just needs to add 1 electron, or it could lose 7. But it's going to go to the easiest way, so it's going to be easier to gain 1 electron than lose 7. And with sodium, it's going to be much easier to gain and give up 1 electron than to gain 7. So the octet rule is that atoms want to have a full outer shell of electrons, their valence electrons, to be happy. There's usually 8 electrons in the outer shell. That first one holds 2 because it's small, close to the nucleus. The second energy shell holds 8 electrons. So we talked about sodium with this 1 electron straggler, wants to get rid of it, and then it has 8 full electrons on the outside. So now we get into lesson 2.1, where things get extra exciting. So you need to know how elements react. Not just if they react or not, but how they're going to react with what other chemicals. And again, you're going to need this for EOC, everyday life, and definitely the zombie apocalypse. So we'll learn about how different atoms react with other atoms or just with themselves. How you'll be tested is at the end of this, you are asked to define and draw ions, ionic bonds, and covalent bonds. So if we remember the octet rule, that atoms want to have a full outer shell of electrons, usually 8, to be happy, and then they won't react with other atoms. But until they become happy, they're going to do everything in their power to get that full outer shell. So that's the whole basics. For any chemical bonds going on, it's all about the octet rule and atoms trying to have their just right amount of electrons for their shells. So you learn about 3 things. An ion will gain or lose an electron. So this is just an atom by itself will give up an electron or find one floating around or steal one from another atom, and then it will become happy. So we talked a lot about sodium with that 1 little electron in that third shell. It'll just get rid of it, and then it's all happy with 8 full electrons on that second ring. An ionic bond, if we think about the idea of gaining or losing electrons from ions, is that atoms gain or lose an electron from another atom closer to them, and then those opposite charges attract and keep them stuck together. So we have sodium with this 1 little electron that it wants to give to chlorine, because chlorine really just wants 1 electron. So sodium, this electron would come off of the sodium onto the chlorine.